All of the content contained in this webcast is for informational purposes only. The investments and strategies contained in this webcast may not be suitable for you. Please consult your own independent financial advisor before making any investment or trading decision. Good morning, traders and investors around the world, and welcome to Friday's edition of premarketinfo.com, where we prepare you for the most important hour of the day, the first hour. Well, Dennis, we bumped up against the high of the move this last night at 1377 and a quarter, and got to 1377, and the sellers stepped in.
Yeah, they stepped in there last night. Euro getting beat up pretty good. I think that's a little bit of your driver to drive the market down here a bit. And some of your commodities and even your precious metals. We got gold and silver trading down slightly again.
Okay, taking a look at our targets on the downside, if that 1377 holds, we have a downside target of 1363 and a quarter. If that 68 and a quarter holds up as the low of the day, we got an upside target of 1382. Right now, mid-range is 1373. You're going to have to fight your way back up to the settlement there at 1374.50. Moving on to the Big Ten, Dennis. ExxonMobil, I just think it just doesn't want to go to 88. Sellers are stepping in at various levels, all the way down to 87.18, which was yesterday's high. Just no pop to get this stock up to that 52-week high. Coming back. Still holding in that 86.41 level that was yesterday's low. It's going to go one way between 86 and 88, Dennis. It just seems like it's starting to lean on that 86, and here we are trading right in the middle.
It's just been quiet trade here. It needs a catalyst in either direction, like a big upgrade or a big downgrade or something to get it out of this trading range. But until it can do that, 86 still, seems to put a lid on the bottom of it, and then on the top of it, obviously that 88 is just huge. We've talked about that level for it seems like the last couple of months. 87 and the high 87s, the high frequency resistance is all over the place. So until we can get some major upgrade or some catalyst, I don't see it taking that level out.
You seen any big bids in this?
No
Or is it
bids, just the offer. I see $88. Like they say, there's littered with orders up there in the high 87s and at $88.
Okay. Moving on to Apple. That was kind of interesting yesterday because it did make a new all-time 547.61 was the high on Wednesday. And then it got to 548.21, and then it peeled back quite a bit. So with a $550 stock, Dennis, that's as close as you can call it to a double top. So that's going to be major resistance there. The trading below the close here at 544.47, so that's going to be minor resistance. But that seems like someone's starting to nestle in at 548, so we got to keep an eye on that. Coming back on the downside, below 542, Dennis, it's really going to be a slippery slope for traders. Kind of looks like that Wednesday's low is going to get taken out here within a day or two at 535.70.
Yeah, it looks like somebody trying to call the top. Maybe they're leaning on 550, thinking 550 is going to put a lid on it. It's possible, but it's so hard to call a top on a stock like this. I mean, if you were trying to call a top anywhere in the last 2 months, you were probably wrong or almost definitely wrong. So it's so hard to say where the stock stops. I think if you're trying to call a top or trying to get a short on, you got to wait for a significant down move and then sell the bounce because we just haven't had that move. Aside from that big day where we topped up 526 and peeled back 40 points in a couple of sessions, that is going to happen again. But where that happens, who knows?
Yeah, especially Steve Wozniak was on yesterday, and he thinks it's going to $1,000. So
who knows? I don't know if it's going to $1,000 on this run, but man, long term, they're doing a lot of things right. I think that when you're getting targets like that, obviously start to feel like the stock may be getting toppy. And when everybody's all bullish, then you know that the top is close. But there's still people that aren't on the Apple bandwagon, so it's hard to say where the top is.
Right, definitely talking his position. Moving on to IBM, Dennis. We're just reiterating this 199.23 level, the all-time high. Had a couple stabs at it. Actually, only one time we got back over 199. Yesterday's low moved down to 198.47. So you kind of getting a rounding top here. I hate to try and call the top in it, but this is the formation that I talked about in the weekly outlook, where you kind of get a rounding top and you get a series of bottoms. So perhaps under 196, Dennis, this thing might start to break down a little bit.
Yeah, it's looking toppy, Joel, and it doesn't surprise me in the 200 area that we keep topping out in the 199s because high frequency guys look for major levels like that. They look for institutional size. They're probably finding it around that $200 area, so they sell it in the 199s and the high 199s. Every time it gets into the 199s, it is met with some sellers. Until it can break over 200, I think I would play from the short side too. It breaks over 200, you know where your out is. This stock starts trading 200, I do not want to be short it.
Okay, Chevron Corporation, after taking a sniff at the all-time high earlier in the week, which was 110.99. The highest we got was 110.92. Yesterday's low, even though the market was fairly strong and got up near the high of the move, that wasn't the case with Chevron Corporation, only getting to 110.14. Support at 109, Dennis. 109.10 was Thursday's low. I would not want to be long that stock if it took out 109.
Yeah, that's the same thing as IBM. You've got a major resistance level, which we've cited, which is 111. And until it can take out that 111, the high frequency guys are going to be playing it from the short side. Even your shorter term click traders are playing it from the short side. So until it can take out 111, I would play it from the short side as well. Just be careful, though, because if 111 goes, this thing could be at 112 in a hurry.
Okay, Mr. Softy, $32 handle, kind of knocked out that 32 ease early in the session. Floated up to 32.43. Some profit takers came in and it settled at 30. Trading down 8 cents in the pre-market. At 32 now, it's going to act as support, Dennis. Hey, hard to believe, but 32 is support. Looking for resistance right up at there at that Thursday's high, 32.43 up to the 32.50 level.
Been an incredible run for Microsoft, just as it has for Apple. I keep saying a lot of these tech stocks are trading together. Microsoft does seem to be trading together with Apple as well. I don't think you're going to get a significant pullback on Microsoft until Apple has a significant pullback. So I'm still using the Apple indicator on this stock.
Okay. All right. GE, which we didn't spend a lot of time on yesterday, hugging this $19 level, Dennis. You got all the lows this week between $18.99 and $19.03. So this thing is holding on to 19. If we break 19, this thing could be going back down to the 10 and 11 day lows at 1870 to 1880. The resistance moves down from 1937 and 19 and a quarter. But just as we've been talking about, this is just the stock is just dead.
Yeah, it's dead money unless you're a rebate trader there, Joel, because they're actually starting to rebate trade this thing too. They've always, the rebate traders. I just wrote an article there for CFA Magazine on it as well, and we can post that up on the site. We'll post that up on the site maybe later today. But man, it's just the rebate traders. When their volatility is this low, you can sit there and there's just not that much risk, so you can sit there and they just try to sell, buy on the bid, sell on the offer, or if you're high frequency or if you're an internalizer, you can sit there and play within the spread where even you doing sub pennies and sit there and collect the rebates, and that just drives the volatility down and down. We had a 16-cent range on this thing yesterday. I mean, that is a tight range for even a stock like GE. So 19 is looking thick, though, just from a technical basis. The 19 needs to hold. If it continues, then it's probably going to be trading in the same range it did yesterday.
Okay, moving on to our next component, Procter & Gamble, Dennis. Here's a stock that goes up, makes a new 52-week high a couple days ago, and then just pulled back. It pulled back with a vengeance yesterday, getting down to 66.46. With a 66.66 close. So for all you devil worshippers, better be careful with that. And below that, Monday's low at 66.13. Really no good resistance in this, back up to those old highs, perhaps at the $67 level, some where we had some big sellers before. And we noted in this stock, I remember discussing this earlier in the week, how The last time it went up to this area, it just trudged up to trudged. This time, it was a very news motivated move. You blew through that, the 65 handle, like really the 64 and the 65 handle, like it was nothing. And then a lot of times when a stock does make a move up like that and it can't sustain it, sometimes it goes back down like that.
Yeah, that's just it. The volatility is actually, unlike GE, unlike Pfizer, the volatility in this thing has been pretty good the last few sessions here. So for a lower beta stock, it's actually had a decent trading range, over a buck 23 there yesterday trading range. That's a huge range for Procter and Gamble. I'd expect a little bit of volatility here again. I'm always a big fan of the 2-day move. When you see this breakdown, it's like, oh, people are buying and think it's breaking out. Now they're nervous, and I wouldn't be surprised if you see, some sellers coming in the 67 area that are nervous, that may have been buying above 67. Oh, get me out at 67, get me out even, and then I'll move out of it. So sometimes you catch those traders, and the stock can go into a sell-off mode again, and until those traders puke out their longs, the stock might have another significant day where it sells off. Wouldn't surprise me, anyways.
Yeah, the old Kramer versus Bank America. Kramer was panning the stock earlier in the week, and then Bank America got the upgrade. So, right around the 67 level, Kramer may have this one right. So we'll give a little kudos to him. And to J&J, kind of sold off in sympathy with with Procter and Gamble yesterday. Got a good level for you folks to trade off in Johnson and Johnson. Matching lows Wednesday and Thursday at 64.71. So you get a bounce off there. Look for a rally. 65.42 to yesterday's high at 65.26. So keep an eye on that 64.70 in the downside in J&J.
65.5 is starting to look really big here too. It's getting thick in that area. So I'd expect this thing, even at the highs yesterday, 65.26, all the way up to 65.50 to give you pretty significant resistance on this. And you're right, Joe. Procter and Gamble, I think it's starting to trade down and get weaker off that Procter and Gamble. Those stocks do tend to trade together, not perfectly correlated, but they all kind of track each other a bit. So when Procter and Gamble's breaking down a buck yesterday, it definitely had an impact on J&J.
Okay, big move so far with AT&T in the pre-market, topping out at double top 30.64 to 66. That's going to be major resistance. 30.59 close. Thursdays lows at the 30.44 area. Support, just all these lows here are so close together. I don't know what to tell you what major support really go into sell-off mode in this thing. The 6 and 7 day lows at 30.20 look pretty important. And also, we saw some news that they're doing something with their unlimited data packages.
Yeah, I seen something fly by. It seems like there's little news like that on AT&T every day. But regardless, 30.63 is where the close was. It's closing up near this double top here where we topped out there. Let's get that number for you. Back in early January, we got up to 30.68. So I think, until we get above 30.70, maybe you do play this from the short side. If it can get above 30.70, then I would talk about the 31 area. But again, this one, lower volatility. But still, it looks like, you could try it out from a short, just off that 30.68 area.
Okay, and just as we were panning Pfizer yesterday for a stock that doesn't move, had a had a real nice range yesterday, Dennis. Bounced off that 21 level. You had three lows between 21.03 to 21.06. Bounced nicely off that and got up to 21.65. Hallelujah! What a move for Pfizer. Peeled back to close at 21.49. 21.65 is going to be major. Perhaps if it goes into reverse, Dennis will go right back down to that 21 level.
It's an unbelievable move for Pfizer yesterday, just out of the blue to have that kind of. I actually got lucky. I bought the open on this, Joel. I never took a cent of heat, at 21.05, and the stock went straight up. But of course, I'm thinking, I make 10 cents on Pfizer. Hallelujah, that's a good trade because the thing's only going to probably have a 15-cent range. So I sell it, I think around 21.15, and the thing just kept going higher. So I was scratching my head how it's moving up that high, and I was also hitting my head why I sold it so soon. But the scalper that I am, I always seem to get out of positions too quickly. Definitely gets back down to that low 21s. I think you'll find buyers all over the place now. Anybody that was short this thing is probably going to want to be starting to buy this in the 21-25 area. So I think you're going to start to see buyers coming in this stock, Joel.
Okay, S&Ps have gotten a bounce here. Been talking here, trading above the 1370 level. Still looking at that resistance at the mid-range up to the close. We're going to take a quick break here and post our market movers. We'll be right back with